Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
Hi.
Bestsellers, we're all here today. Hello. I'm super glad that we're all here. And I think you all noticed Michelle is here. Yay.
Hi,
We were
Michelle.
so worried. As you guys probably know, Michelle lives in Texas, and we all have been really worried about her all week to make sure that she's okay. So, whew, what a relief. What happened? Oh my God.
We lost power for the first half of the week. It would like come on for like an hour or two and then go off for like 5 to 6 hours. One stretch we had 15 hours off.
Oh gosh.
And that was like from early in the day through like till 4 a.m. So by the time we went to bed, it was just so cold in here, you know?
Oh no.
Ouch.
Were you like cranking your heat up to like 85 and charging all of your stuff during that hour?
They actually were asking people not to do that, to keep the thermostats at 68 so it wouldn't cause a surge.
Oh,
No.
So
It was, but the nice thing about living in a small apartment is it heats up real fast, and we were keeping the bedroom door closed, and the bedroom gets like really toasty.
Yeah.
So we were able to retain, like once it would shut off again, it would stay pretty good for like 2 or 3 hours before it started getting chilly again. And the water was off and on, and I was just so afraid of burst pipes because you saw the footage, like that was the part of it. And there were burst pipes in my building down on the bottom floor, but no flooding up here. It was that our water got shut off for a while, and you could probably see I still have like a ton of recycling I need to do, all these plastic bottles.
No, I was wondering. So, like, when there's a hurricane coming, you like make sure that you have a lot of bottled water, and a lot of times, like if you have empty gallon jugs, just fill those up and make sure that they are available. And so that's what I was like, oh, I recognized the I didn't think about recycling. I was like, oh yeah, I know that 8,000 jugs of water, or big bottles of water.
I mean, I am used to that too, because I used to live in a place with, I wouldn't say droughts, but it was dry during the dry season, and then we never got rain, and then we had like water shortages. There was a time in my life where big gallons of water collecting was a thing. So I have experience. Yeah, I have experience with water shortages, power shortages, all kinds of like I'm used to that kind of stuff. So like when I saw that my friend over in Texas, I have a friend in Texas, she's a writer, but she's not an AUTHORTUBE, that like she and her husband were like piling up the logs from the woods nearby just to keep the fire warm, because they had a fireplace, so they did it the traditional way. I was like, oh my god, it's horrible. Wow. Yeah. So Texas was a thing.
Yeah. Well, still, right? It's still going on in parts of the state.
Yeah, I think most people, unless there's like significant damage done, places have power again. But the water issue is still really bad. I don't know how we escaped this, but like I know Houston and Austin had serious water problems, and all of the counties surrounding Dallas County were on boil water notices, and some of them still are. But somehow the Dallas County water supply itself stayed strong.
Really?
It was just ours was shut off because the pipes were freezing and bursting on the first floor, but it wasn't because the supply was getting low. I kept waiting for it to happen. It was like if the other major cities got that low, then theirs will too. So I'm grateful for that, at least. Like my mother-in-law lives in Plano, which is a suburb like half an hour north of here, and they were on boil water notice, and she didn't have water. I mean, till Sunday, I think, that they got it back.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we are all very glad that you are okay.
You survived.
I did. Right? Now it's like 75 degrees outside, and like everything melted by Saturday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like it never happened. It's just
so weird when it happens like that. It's funny because last week I did not make the connection until afterwards, because I'd sent you the link like I always do. And when you weren't here, I was like, oh, I don't know what happened to Michelle today. Well, she'll probably come in later. And then it didn't occur to me. And then like you would message back, but like and I kept thinking like, wonder what happened to Michelle. And then like Texas, like just like, and then I saw your email later and I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah. So, and then I was like, oh my God, I was, yeah. So I'm glad you're okay.
Great.
And yeah, alive and unfrozen, fully thawed now with the weather. So, all right, you guys, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Actually, before we do that, we should introduce ourselves because once again, we've just been like, blah, 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 blah. So let's say hello to the lovely Doll. Hello, Doll. So nice to see you today.
Hi.
So introduce yourself, dear.
Hello there, humans. I am Books Cecil Runo. I'm a partially blind own voices author, also known as the Ace from Space. I write primarily science fiction, but I write poetry and short stories in multiple genres. My channel is going to be an eclectic process of me learning about writing craft and writing updates and some book reviews thrown in the mix. And I stream on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. in the mornings Eastern.
That's right. I have got to like get that. I think it's in the description, but I need to like get that in my head that you
don't worry if you don't make it. It's very early. It's very early. I know
yeah. But I'm supporting you. All right, so let's go to the alive and fully thawed Michelle.
Yay.
Tell us about you.
Okay, I'm Michelle. I'm a young adult and middle grade author, and my YouTube channel is writing workshops, traditional publishing talk, and writing blogs. And this week it got monetized.
Yay!
Nice.
I made 30 cents yesterday.
Woohoo! I know. I'm very excited because I think like that's such a big thing, right? I'm very excited for you. Like that's even though, I mean, let's face it, none of us are going to like put kids through college or buy a house with the YouTube money. There's something like, okay, I have accomplished something that is challenging to accomplish, and I am proud of. So I'm very proud of you. Yay, Michelle! That's awesome. That is super awesome. Robert's here. Hello, Robert. Tell us all about you.
Well, my channel is The Story Detective, where we take all things story oriented, break down the craft, give it to the viewers, and hope to make your writing journey a little easier. I also do tech reviews, and some of that is coming up soon.
I'm so excited. I know you've taken a little bit of a hiatus.
Yes.
So I think it was last week somebody had said that with like Mercury was in retrograde.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that, and you know how it is, like if you're thinking about something that you notice it everywhere, I just keep feeling like everything is like completely insane.
But
like,
it's over. It's Mercury retrograde is over now.
Well,
so things
thank God you
should
told me
get
that.
back to normal. Slowly.
Well, yeah. Let's see about that. I'm going to hold my breath. So, hi everybody. I'm Lisa Daly. Welcome to my channel. These lovely humans and I do our writing sprints live stream every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1. And if you want to write a book you're super proud of and get it published, this is a good place to check it out. So, anyway, thanks so much for being here, you guys. We really appreciate it. Let's say hello. All right, guess who's first today? Laurel's here. I am here. Very nice.
I am here.
Just Eva is also here. Hello,
Hi,
darling.
Eva.
We're super glad to see you. JC is here. Hello. Hello. We're so glad. Oh my gosh, Nicole, we're so happy to see you today. We are always happy to see you. And made it on time. You know what, honey? Anytime you make it, you're on time, right? We don't start till you get here. All right. There we go. Hey,
Time is just a construct.
Right? Exactly. Speaking of constructs, we're going to talk a little bit about process today, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this was Robert's idea, and I think it's genius because I have been really messing around with my process, and I think a lot of writers have, just because things are, different now than they have been. And so you keep going and trying to do the same thing that always worked and it's not working. You got to try something else. So there we go. All right. Fantastic. All right. Eva said, Oh, I said that already. That sums up my day. Yep. Me too, girlfriend. Absolutely. Sako's here. Hey, Sako. We're super glad
Sako.
you're here. She is also glad that Michelle is alive and well. Barbara Howard is here.
Hey,
Hello, Barbara. We're super glad. Oh, I'm loving your avatar today. Very chill. Love it. MM Ward is here. Hello. Very glad to see you. Be better, not bitter. Love that. Eva says she's glad you're warm and cozy now, Michelle. Hope moves are made to ensure no one has to go through this again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seriously.
From your lips to
next week, I might have my power bill, so I might have more to bitch at.
Yeah, I heard about a woman that had like a $5,000 electric bill because she was the only one that power didn't go out for, and they gave her like a big delivery charge. And
I know. I hope we don't have to have a telethon for you, Michelle, but we will.
The silver lining in this is it's going on Disney's docket as Frozen 13, Michelle's story.
All right,
let it snow.
No snowing anymore. Sako is here. Sako's here. Oh, Sako sent me a little message. I'm sorry, Sako.
Yeah.
It literally just popped up on Facebook. I don't have my Facebook closed. I closed everything, but I just saw I got a notification. And you said next week maybe, and the answer is yes. Yes. Next week is perfect.
I will remind you, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Yeah, somebody's going to need to. All right, because Carol is still in moving hell.
Oh my God.
Right? Thank goodness Doll has stepped in to be my personal brain, because apparently I need an annex.
I am already an assistant for Mad Raptor Productions. Why not take it here?
Why not? I just need a little auxiliary brain power like a couple times a week. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate you stepping up. December 86, 2020. Yes, it is. Okay. Laurel got her first copyright claim on a video today, on a video that is entirely me talking and nothing else. Go figure. I'm not monetized, so I don't know what to think. You know what? Fight it.
Yeah, that's fight it. Yeah, that's a fluke. That's really not your fault.
And honestly, even unless so I have two videos that have gotten copyright claimed. The first one was the romance beats, how to write a romance novel, sort of the different romance beats. And the way that I illustrated those beats was by taking clips from pretty popular rom-coms. However, this falls under fair use. Because I am teaching. Yeah, because I'm teaching. I'm using them as examples in a teaching video. And so that is fair use. I put in like a bunch. There are probably 15 clips in there, little short ones just to illustrate a point. And it's mostly me talking, but there are like 15 video clips in there. And the one I got copyright claimed on was the very last one, which was a Pride and Prejudice clip. But I fought it and said, this is a teaching video. And they were like, okay, cool. And they released the claim. And then the other one I got claimed on, they totally had me on it. Like I knew I was going to get claimed and it was worth it anyway, was that video that I did for my magical special keyboard. And and like it lights up. Robert knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So it lights up, and I thought that was so cool. So I did like a video of that, and then I did. You guys remember? It's like a super old song, but it was like so perfect. It's like that ELO song, "I'm Alive." Yes. So I did like a whole little keyboard light up montage with that song, and I'm like, I don't care. I know I'm getting copyright claimed on this, but I'm doing it anyway. So anyway. Yeah, so Laurel, if it's just
they get you on. It's the music, because of the copyright claim. I only had one, and I used video clips to demonstrate things as well. Yeah, and when the copyright claim came in, it was the soundtrack in the background of that clip, not the clip itself.
Yeah, I have a very strange feeling with something I did. And I'm just waiting for the copyright claim to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. And I'm not calling it. Don't claim it if you don't want to.
Usually, right away. Like if it gets claimed, like it's in that system.
A short story. Yeah. Oh crap! My Wi-Fi. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, but like the flash fiction that I released recently, Liminal Void, there's at some point it has some music in it, music that is not mine, and and it has not been claimed, and I'm like, interesting.
Well, so they can't, so they don't put every single thing in. They just put parts of the song. So like a song, like a popular song, they're going to put the chorus in, they're going to put you know, and they'll put other kind of popular moments in the song or in the movie. And that's how, and sometimes it's kind of random, but yeah, it's not all of it that is in this copyright claim system. And so you just get flagged instantly. And again, mostly if you can fight it and get rid of it in like the first 24 hours.
I did fight mine and they gave it back to me.
What I'm thinking that my case is that I also worked on that instrumental. Like I have one of the singer's voices, and then I sing with I'm singing there too. So it's kind of a cover, but not really. But like it's part of the story, but I'm not monetizing that thing either. So it's like they kind of I guess I was clever.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you can fool. And in that case, if you are, you know, doing a cover or you're just using it as background, you actually don't have, like, you're not going to win a copyright claim. But if you're doing something to illustrate a point in a teaching video, then you absolutely can. So congratulations. Oh my gosh, you guys, hold on. StreamYard just jumped like, what?
Congrats, Laurel, on the
congratulations, Laurel, on your very, very first copyright claim. So there we go. All right. So Emmett Lord says, I grew up in Texas. This has happened with hurricanes and ice storms for years during the 70s and 80s. Just Eva lived north of Dallas, lives in Colorado now, like blizzards more than hurricanes. That's true. You can move the moisture with a shovel. And Colorado, like I grew up in Colorado too. They're used to it, right? We're used to big snow in Colorado. So it's not like
things are built for that.
They are. You have the city is organized with it. It's not the same thing as like when I lived in Richmond, Virginia. We had it had to be 1.5 inches of snow, and they literally shut down the city. And I was working for an ad agency back then where we a lot of our clients were state clients. So we had like Virginia Tourism and a bunch of other Virginia Film Office. And the rule for the agency was if the state closes, we closed. The state closed for like 1.5 weeks. They literally waited for the snow to melt. They couldn't manage like a snowplow in the whole city of Richmond, Virginia. It was shocking. And I'm like laughing because, you know, everyone's like, oh, we can't go out. It's a big storm. And of course, you know, I like, whatever. So, all right, here we go. La Monique, is it La Monique Mac? Hello. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming by today. We're super glad you're here. Hello. Very good. Welcome, welcome. Eva says she's the master of time zones. Need a conversation ask dog. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I know all the, like, I can just dictate all the time zones that happen, like when my stream happens. Like it is 8 a.m. Eastern, but like 7 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Mountain, 5 a.m. Club Pacific, and then all the European time zones, and everyone is like, how do you do that?
I'm generally pretty good with the US and Canada and the UK, only because I have done approximately a gazillion radio interviews over the last 10 years, and it's always like, you're always in a different time zone. Okay, yay! Congratulations on 1,000 on 1K, Michelle. Very nice. Although I think you got there a while ago, right? You were just a little delayed.
It was the watch hours that took a while.
It's the watch hours.
Oh, yeah. I was really mine were really close. Like I hit my watch hours were second though too. But yeah, I hit the 1,000 subscribers, and then the watch hours not super long, like within like the same couple of days. But it's agony, right? You feel like 1,000, and then you're going like, oh. And plus they report the watch hours, I think, like a couple days delayed, right? Because then you like have a new video coming out, and you're like, yeah, today's the day, and they're like, no, not today, not today, honey. So, all
Mine
right,
was
there
just
we
the
go.
opposite. I had a ton of watch hours before I got to the 1K. So I'm like,
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
watching, they're just not subscribing.
That's never good. Okay. Hello. We're super glad about that. That's awesome. All right. Plum report. Hello, Kimberly. I may have to jump on. I owe you an email. I'm super sorry. I have been like insane just for all of 2021. So I did see it. I apologize, and I will get back to you. So thank you for coming today. We're super glad. Laurel, woohoo. Everybody says congrats to Michelle.
Hey.
Eva, that was so nice of you. Thank you so Thank you. Thanks so much. That was very sweet of you. Super. Oh, I think I just skipped right over you because I did go to December 86, 2020. I think we might have had like a big jump there. Everybody says hello. All right, you guys, let's talk. We have like a lot of, hi, Tina. So nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here today. All right, you guys, it is 11:22 and we have not started our warm-up sprint yet. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I want to do when we come back, everybody, let us know what you're working on. So if you want to put that in the chat now or do it right when we come back, that would be awesome. And we will all share what we are working on as well. And our topic for the chat today is going to be process. So if you have any process-oriented questions or tips or rants, stick them in the chat. All right, here you guys go. Here you guys go. That's some great link. Okay. All right, here is our timer, which apparently has started without us. All right, here we go, guys. Let's see. All right,
Get
hold
ready
on.
to sprint.
Yeah, we're gonna turn this back on, make this go. Okay, I'm ready. Ooh, okay, let's warm
Ready, set,
up.
go.
Sorry. let me just get all this stuff turned off. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
There you go. All right. So before we get back to comments, what is everybody going to be working on today? Let's start with you, Robert.
I'm actually working on some revision notes. I had a flood of ideas coming to the page yesterday, so I started writing them down so I can plug them into the different parts of the story when I get there. I'm also getting a little more specific since I know the characters better, and I'm making notes on their wants and their intentions going into these things, which always helps.
Nice. Very nice. All right. That's cool. I love that. It's funny because I was like this, and then I noticed Michelle jumping up and down when we said like you're having all these ideas, like, right? And I'm like, ooh, that's the best. That's the best feeling. That is the best feeling ever. Yeah, good, awesome. Speaking of Michelle, what are you going to be working on today?
So I'm finishing up a client's book. She actually, this is like a case where she sort of had a draft written, and we restructured it, and now I'm writing a new draft. And today I'm writing the second to last chapter, and it's the only chapter that like it's a scene that completely wasn't in the original draft. So
completely original.
Yeah, it's a very short scene. And then I'm just gonna have one chapter left, and I'll be done. Yay!
Yay! How is your project coming?
Pretty good. I mean, I haven't made any more progress with my zero draft, but that's because I hit the halfway point in that, and then just more. I started doing more development, character development, and world building development, and just like fleshing out ideas. But it's becoming more fleshed out in my head, if that makes sense. You know, the story feels like it's coming together. So
yeah, I love that. Like, I love that feeling, like when it, like, because in the beginning it's kind of like you're excited about it, but also it's a little bit of a slog as you're trying to get everybody in position and, you know, tell who they are. That's where I'm like super close to the part where you just start kind of sailing a little bit. So I can feel it. It goes a little faster every day. But yeah, so yes. Doll, what are you going to be working on today?
I'm going to be finishing the draft for the horror short story that I started last Wednesday. And I want to post something to Instagram, like the one-line Wednesday thing. But I just cannot find one line in my project that is like Instagrammable. So we'll see if I can make that. But the main focus is the horror short story that I am finally finishing. Took a week.
That's great, though. I'm glad. That's fantastic. Well, I'm super excited about your Instagram. So last week, Michelle, we were talking about, I did a little Instagram makeover in January, like for the beginning of the year. And Doll was saying like that she really liked it. And so Doll has made over she's like working on doing a little Instagram makeover of her own, which I am super excited about.
Lisa inspired my Instagram makeover.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't have the tools to do what your is it your assistant, right? You have an assistant who who's helped.
I have a little helper.
Yes.
Right. I have, and that with social media, I sometimes have to outsource part of my brain.
Yeah, I know that, but that's understandable. I just don't want to say something that is not correct.
Oh, no,
yeah, so but like I don't have the tools that your assistant has because like I see what they did. Now that the grid wasn't like in all the correct positions, I see that it was like a big aesthetic picture to use as a background, but it was like gridded in pieces. So it is planned. Yeah. It's like carefully planned and posted. So like when you see the whole thing as a whole, it's like a whole aesthetic background. I am not doing that because I don't have the tools for that. And I thought about it and I'm like, maybe not. But I did like aesthetic backgrounds with my color palette, and I will just stick to that for now at least.
Yours is perfect, I think, because it all goes together. And like the thing with mine, and the weird thing is like if you went over to go look at mine right now, it's a little off kilter because it's like the second day, not the third day. So like it's when we looked at it last week, it was like oh, perfect,
Yeah.
because it was the third day. But now, like, and you can see like it all still matches and goes together, but you can also see like once it gets to
Yeah,
the,
exactly. It just runs a little bit to the side because
Right.
yeah.
So so anyway, so the thing about this is it's like a 60 days worth, but it's an infinity loop. So then you
Mhm,
repeat it and it keeps going. Michelle's like,
Yes.
what is this witchery? So
Yeah.
so
It,
but with yours, what I was going to say is you could do the same exact thing. Like if you have those 6 panels, you could repeat them over and over and over and over and over again.
I can even interchange them if I want to, like put a little bit variety. So
exactly.
I'm gonna be interchanging the colors a little bit. So I'm gonna be like swirling around. But yeah, I'm a little bit more less complex than yours. But still, it's like, but I want an aesthetic that I can post something on top of it, and it will still make sense as a whole. I never did that before. I never did that before with my Instagram. I just had like general images that look good together, but it wasn't like an aesthetic. And I was like, bingo, this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
Now I can post whatever nonsense, but it will still make sense. It's like, so
right.
watching
ties
Lisa,
it all together.
Watching Lisa's Instagram and learning from her, it inspired me to do better. And I know that that's the platform where a lot of people are.
Yeah, Bookstagram is just, I mean, the book community
it's very
on
visual
Instagram
and it's not easy for me to, me blind.
Yeah.
Hello.
I know, but yours is beautiful. Like what you did was absolutely beautiful. So, and go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is like, I'm not gonna allow like, okay, I'm blind, sure. But this is what I want to tell people. Like, don't allow your impairments to become an excuse for you not to adapt to what's going on right now.
That is excellent advice, because we all have something, right? We all have, I mean, certainly some of us have more than others, and sometimes you don't have that much now, but you have something later. Like we all have stuff that gets in our way that we need to overcome. And what an awesome message. All right. So you're working on that. Michelle's working. And Robert, did I ask you? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Did I? Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I totally got Are you sure that Mercury retrograde thing isn't still happening?
It's over. It's over, Lisa. It's just gonna take you. It's gonna take you a little bit to just get back to normal. But it happens like that. Some people take longer. Some people take shorter. Like I'm still surviving. I just know how to put my best face out to the world, but I'm still surviving.
Apparently I'm still, that is my personal thing. Okay, so I will be working on my book. My goal is to get it submitted to my agent along with the proposal by the end of February, which gives me about a week. This is just the first part. It's not the complete thing, but it's going to be about the first quarter. And really just I have a good hook coming up in maybe 2 more chapters. And so I'll be ending it there, because it's always good when you're submitting. If you're not submitting a full, it's always good if you end on a hook, so they'll want to read more. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm on track. So far, so good. So that's what I'm going to be working on. All right, let's find out what everybody is going to be working on today. Oh my gosh, StreamYard, you're killing me today. All right, here we go. Hold on. I'm sorry, I can't. Okay, JC says, Lisa, I love how you said all of 2021 and we're only 2 months in. I have no concept of time right now. Okay, Nicole. Hello, darling. Nicole's working on outline for paranormal time travel romance. So off I go, hoping to finish that by the end of the stream. Yay. All right, we're going to have to get some sprints in if you're going to do that and stop the gabbity gab. All right. Okay, Plum. Kimberly is editing a podcast episode today. I have to run and bring my daughter to an interview. Girl needs a job. Debut next week. That's awesome. And the book tour is going on this week. Yay. Nice. All right. How do we say this? Isoldes? Anybody know? All right. We're going to need phonetics pronunciation of that, Miss Plum report. All right, here we go.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
I don't either. JC also having challenges with time. All right. Oh my gosh. Joanne Ninjahen is working on spreadsheets for Anti-Toast for the VRMMORPG. Okay, can we all do like an imaginary cheers to Caro? Whenever we say spreadsheets, we have to cheers Caro today.
Caro!
We miss you. She'll be back eventually at some point. All right.
Miss you, boss.
Nicole says, quick question. Am I writing a true romance if the MMC male main character isn't introduced until the Act 1, beginning of Act 2? Will they get together? Will there be a happily ever after? And is the goal of one of your main character to end up in this relationship? Then the answer is yes. It is generally better to introduce your couple earlier on, because romance readers are looking for that. They want to start pining right away. So do you have a reason for waiting until beginning of Act 2 to do the introductions? Just curious. Single-minded, the love interest was introduced a little late in the first act, but I had a bunch of stuff to get through with that she goes through a divorce and there's this big surprise and all this stuff. So I had some material to get through before we could bring him into the picture. And
that's a clear reason why you did it.
Right, exactly. And so you can do it, but generally it's better to introduce them earlier. And I will say, I actually have just been sort of grappling with this a little bit in the book that I'm working on now, where I had the doing an enemies to lovers trope, which is the first time I've ever done that. I'm very excited about it. I know, right? Stevie. So that's the first time I've ever done that. And I was like, well, I should be bringing this guy in earlier. So I had to figure out where's a good spot where they could have had I wanted to bring in the part where the reason for them earlier on. So I'm excited about that. Okay.
I would also say that structure is pretty malleable. It is better in most cases for beginner writers to have it up front, but I've seen a lot of stories where they introduce the villain or the love interest or the situation. You just have to make sure that if your first act is flipping over and doing all those things with the bad guy or someone else, that you're proposing a really interesting situation, that when your main character gets there, they're dropped into that. So yeah, and even in just sort of dropping in the promise that this person will be coming later, you don't have to specifically mention them, but if you know that your other main character is sort of needs something like this in her life, or if you can sort of drop some breadcrumbs earlier, that can go a long way to sort of helping you bring that character in a little bit later. M.M. Ward is writing a coup. Well, I hope you find plenty of inspiration. All right. JC got coffee, pulled at my documents, still working on my novel from Nano, but I'm nearing the end. Yay! Starting chapter 19 today. Very, very nice job.
Woo!
Yeah, right? Let's have a little round for that. That's awesome. Laurel finished up boring paid work in that sprint. Now I'm going to do some flash fiction. Maybe draw, edit a new video. Yay! NUL, hello, darling. We're so glad you're here today. Very nice to see you.
I have a quick shout out to do. Annual is streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you want to get some things done, go to Annual's channel and support him on his streams.
Awesome. Very, very nice. Fantastic. All right. So then we have a little geographical bonding happening over here. Look at that.
Yay!
All right. Laurel says, I would say it can still be a romance, but you might get pushback from readers who want your couple to meet right off the bat. Yeah. As long as you, like I said, as long as you drop some breadcrumbs, you can make it happen. And again, if you have a good reason to do it, you can. The one hard and fast rule with romance is happily ever after.
Happy ever after? Oh, happy for now.
Or happy for now. That's right. Very good job. All right, here we go. No more, Laurel says no more cosmological excuses. You know the funny thing? It's not like I'm like reading my horoscope every day. I just am really looking for a good reason why everything is so insane lately. Okay, SAVY'S here, not here, but down there in the chat. So sorry, I can't make it live this morning. I had to schedule some calls for work now. I tried to schedule around the stream, but it didn't work out. That's okay. We love you anyway. Oh, look at you, right? Pay you later, girlfriend. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, best-selling. Okay, here we go. When is the next Liquor and Stickers? Well, it's coming up soon. Let's check that out. Ooh, it's coming up this week. Right? It's the last Saturday night of the month, which means this Saturday, the 27th. Look at me with my little publishing planner. Check the plan, find out. The 27th, which is Saturday night, 8 p.m. Boozy Planorama, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I will pop up the live stream stuff kind of early. You guys know I end up doing this one kind of late, but I'll try and do that one a little earlier so you can hit the little remind button. Thank you. All right. Oh my gosh. Joanne Ninja Hand says, Carol. I think that was in response to the spreadsheet comment. MM Ward says 2021 needs to be put in a timeout until December 31st because she is the tantrum throwing little sister of 2020. Okay, hold on. Oh, Nicole says she can't meet him until she travels back in time. That's okay. That's fine. And now that you say that, you know what? There's oh my gosh, there was a fun book. It's a Pride and Prejudice Jane Austen time travel book written by Laura Vieira Rigler, and I don't know why I can't think of the name of the book, but I think she didn't introduce the love interest until Act 2. Similar kind of a situation. Nicole, that sounds like a perfectly valid reason not to introduce your guy until a little later. So we'll wait for Mr. Handsome or Ms. Handsome, depending. All right, there we go. JC says, ooh, sounds very intriguing. Outlander has a bit of that going on. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice. Is Outlander a true romance or a time travel fantasy with romantic elements? I think it depends on who you ask. I would say time travel fantasy with romantic elements, but there are probably people who would say something different.
I flip that around and say romance. Well, I just said it there. Romance with time travel and fantasy elements.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is
because
hilarious.
If the main focus of the story is the romantic thing, then it's
Right.
a romance.
Right.
Like it depends on what is the main focus.
Right. Right. I don't know. And to be fair, I've only watched like 3 Outlanders episodes, so I might not be the best judge. I felt like it was a lot of time travel and not enough kissing. That was my feeling. But again, I'm not like a big fan. All right. Hello. We're super glad you made it. All right.
Actually,
might
that
be
was
the
a comment.
reverse. Okay, that's hilarious. All right. I know, right? You never know. Okay, you guys, let's get rolling with another sprint. This time we're going to do a big 20 minutes. Hold on. Let me just get our share screen going up here. Get a little audio going.
Just a quick question, Lisa, as a romance author.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people say if there is a romance in the story, that becomes the core automatically. How do you feel about that?
I disagree, because the definition of a romance novel, like in order to be classified as a romance novel, that has to be basically the goal of the story. So that your couple gets together. So if you have other stuff going on and the romance is sort of secondary, then it's not technically classified as a romance. Even though with the whole, like when the kind of chick lit movement happened, you had a lot more, sort of kind of dual storylines where you had a main character who was focused on like maybe reviving their career or getting it started. Oops, sorry about that. And I can't, you know me, and a romance at the same time, and yet those were still technically classified as romances. But yeah, Well, the old school rules are that has to be the story goals for the romance. The romance has to be the story goal.
So it just becomes a secondary love story and not technically a romance.
Exactly. Michelle is nodding. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Okay, you guys, let's get started with our timer, even though I tried to start it right in the middle, literally in the middle of the conversation. So, Doll, would you like to do the honors and give us a pep talk and take us out?
All right. If my Wi-Fi is kind enough to do this, let's do it. Right, everybody. It's time to work your magic. It's time to get your words down on the document or paper or whatever you're using. It's time to get that painting. It's time to get all the house chores done so you can work on something more productive later. It is time for 20 minutes sprint on the clock and get ready. 3, 2, 1, and sprint.
Okay, here we go. How did everybody? I'm like still hearing the ocean sound. There we go. All right, how did everybody do in the last sprint?
Pretty good.
Yeah, good. What happened?
I think I got most of my notes and ideas that I had in mind down. I'm actually finishing up the last one, and then I can get on to more actual revision.
I did quite all right. I chose one of the dialogue lines because I'm like, I don't know what to choose. I just choose whatever. And I went with one of my dialogue lines from my main character, which sounds pretty threatening. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start with one of the most threatening moments. So like, yeah, that's my protagonist. Take it or leave it, whatever.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm thinking that when I don't find this is for the sci-fi novel, by the way.
Mhm.
So like this is like when you don't know what to select, because like how do you select one line for this one line Wednesday thing? How do you select one line that can be taken out of context but still sounds good and still doesn't spoil anything? It's a task, dude. It's a task. Like, how do you guys do that? It's like, I don't know. So I'm just gonna start with a very threatening line. So
That's good. Okay, it's so funny that you did that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, honey. What were you gonna say? Oh, wait, hold on. I think I just muted you. Sorry, that was me. Apparently, if I hit the space bar with the back of my hand, that mutes someone random.
Yeah, the last action that you took with the clicking mouse thing, if you hit the space bar, it's gonna do it again. It's a shortcut.
I see. And you were the last person I unmuted.
I'm just writing the caption. So like if you see me texting down, I'm not paying attention. I'm not texting somebody or something. I'm just writing the caption for Instagram still.
I just assumed if you were like texting away, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best live stream ever! Come on over, everybody."
Nah, I put all my attention into what I'm doing, but I'm just now writing the caption when the sprint ended. So I'm like, finish that.
That is awesome. I started reading what I wrote yesterday, and I made myself snort laugh. Which let me just say that this is a good thing because I have really struggled to be funny during the pandemic, and so which you guys might like know that is actually a requirement for rom-coms is funny stuff. And so
the calm part.
Right, exactly. The calm part's still mandatory. And I've been really struggling with it. And then of course you're like, am I just not fun? Will I never be funny again ever? And then I read this and it just like spontaneously made me laugh, and not just laugh, but snort laugh. And I'm like, okay, it's all right. I'm doing a thing. So I'm
when you don't need Devin to snort laugh, you know you're on a personal roll.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. I hope he's okay and not trapped in a well. I don't see him today. I wonder where he is. Michelle, how'd you do on the last sprint?
I finished that scene.
Woo! That is awesome. That is super awesome. All right. Well, everybody, let us know how you guys did. Tell us what your progress is and what you're working on if you haven't already shared that. Sky is here. Hello, Sky. Popping in quick to say during the sprint to say hi and then dashing away because kiddos are doing schoolwork and need my help. Bye. Thank you so much for being here today. All right. NUL says, yes, hard to meet because they don't put themselves out here. I'm in Amsterdam, New York, about an hour from Albany. All right, that's cool. Albany, sorry. Yay, cool. That's very cool. How far away is that from you, Robert?
It's about 2 hours north.
2 hours, 2 hours north, you say? All right, there we go. All right, I just like to mention this. NUL says, thank you so much. I appreciate you for the mention, doll. Aw, you're so sweet. All right, Nicole is still trying to organize the outline, has a list full of scenes, and I'm trying to figure out which scenes go where. Beat sheets are harder than they look. I have a romance beat sheet. I'll put the link to it in the thing. But it's connected to if you've seen the romance beat sheet video or beat video, it's the same beats as that, but it's like in helpful sheet form. So if you want it, let me know and I will send it to you because it's helpful, I think, to just, kind of see where everything's supposed to go. All right, JC got 357 words. That's great. Don't say only. I didn't even check my little. I read yesterday's progress and started writing some. I don't even know how far I got, but let me check my little project statistics here. What did I get? Oh, sorry, I opened the wrong thing. Oh, 37 words. But again, made myself laugh. Excited about that. All right. Hello. So happy to see you. Very nice you're here. We're very glad about that. Laurel's here. Edited a couple minutes out of the video trying to be brutal with my cuts. Oh, that's so hard. All right. Then we got another L. And now we have a full-on hello. Hello. We're so glad you made it today. Jeannie Marcel is here. Oh my gosh, you are moving also. I feel so bad. All right, this is going to be a great move to a great place. It's going to be awesome. Smooth as silk. All right, Laura, I'm sorry. I feel like after her like crazy moving experience, that we have to like send good vibes to anyone who might consider moving, even if it's just like down the block. Speaking of down the block, oh my gosh, did you guys see that video the last couple days where they basically like relocated a 100-year-old mansion in San Francisco 6 blocks away? They just drove the thing down the street at like 1 mile an hour. This like 100-year-old mansion. It was incredible, like beautiful, but like completely amazing to watch. So, all right, Laura just finished the new draft of my Lovecraft LARP short story submitted for consideration. Yay! Look at you. Very nice work. All right. The keyboard protector slipped on my laptop. Working on Marvel fanfic today. That is awesome. Okay, Oscar, what's happening, buddy? Let's see. Having a really rough time. So in my book, I'm writing a chapter where my main character's mother dies. Yesterday, I found out my dad had a heart attack, so it's very heavy.
Oh no,
God.
Charlotte.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. That is hard. That's really tough.
I mean, I have a similar experience. When the first time I was writing, the first time ever I was writing a character, death was the very same moment happening when one of my biggest music idols was taking his own life.
Oh goodness.
And basically, I was writing from the POV of a character who was like a friends with a musician in the story, and the musician was dying. So I felt like crap because it was my first time writing a death scene.
Uh-huh.
So I packed up my things, walked home. I went home very slowly, took a detour, went to the grocery shop, bought whatever crap I wanted at the moment, just to make time. And when I got home and I got Wi-Fi again, I became the character I was writing, basically, because I got the news that one of my biggest music idols no more.
Yeah.
And it was happening at the very same time. So it was like I wrote something and then it happened to me right there. So, I sympathize deeply with this feeling because it is really rough. People think, but it's just fiction. But no, it is not just fiction for us. It really isn't. So
It's not. And when you have your book and your life intersect like that, and I hate, like, I'm going to say this, it's going to sound terrible and callous, and you should do it anyway. And that is that you should write through this. Like, as you are dealing with this, when you're processing your dad's heart attack, and you're probably just going to depending on that relationship, you're going to have a lot of emotion just pouring out of you as you're writing that. And that will both help you process that your dad has had a heart attack. It'll process your emotions around that, but also it's going to imbue your chapter with so much emotion that the reader is going to be able to feel it. So I know it's going to be hard. Those chapters are the hardest to write, but the closer you write your chapter that's near that experience to the experience, the more that emotion is just going to pour out of you, and you will eventually it will not, I mean, it'll hurt. You'll cry through the whole thing. And believe me, I have written chapters like that. But those also end up being the ones like, right? You will cry, or you'll be mad, or you'll experience those emotions. But I will say that some of the most powerful work you'll ever write is when you are having that sort of emotional crisis or reaction. And when it's so close to what's happening in the story, you want to use that. And that is one good thing about being a writer, right? Is that it helps us to process our own emotions around things. You can
channel all those things into your work and make something a little bit more beautiful and more productive. Like you can make something out of those emotions that are being so hard on yourself right now. Like, be kind to yourself, because this will be very hard on you. It's very hard on all of us when we go through that. So don't be hard on yourself if you write slowly, if it takes you some time. Seriously, don't be kind to yourself, and it will make your writing better. Like, it's an opportunity to take all that rough time and put it into something beautiful, put it into art.
Yeah.
Or for even future work after I had my accident and life was falling apart. I couldn't write for a while.
Right.
But the creator, since I've been a creator my entire life, said I've never experienced anything like this before. So I got notebooks and it was just screaming on the page, but I got those raw emotions down as best I could. But getting it down does get it out, and that can be helpful too.
It can. And I, like, when you were talking about that, like screaming on the page, that, you know, and Dahl was saying earlier, take care of yourself. I would completely take the opposite approach and just ugly cry right onto the page. Like, just let whatever emotion that is, whether you're saying this is not fair, or you're, you know, devastated, or you're pissed, or what will I do, or no matter what those emotions are, I wouldn't process them like I wouldn't process them logically. Just let them out.
Let it out.
Yeah.
Like, there were tears on my tablet when I was drafting that, and I was drafting without knowing. So the next day, when I knew the whole thing, the next day I couldn't write. But when I got back to writing, which was with a lot of difficulty, I just couldn't avoid it. I was writing and crying at the same time. And I was just like, okay, it is what it is. I just have to go on. And I cannot listen to the song that I was listening in the background anymore when I was drafting the death of the character scene. I cannot play that song anymore without going back to that moment. So, like, the song is attached to that. And if I ever hear it again, it's like... I go back to that moment.
This is why it is a good idea to listen to a song on repeat that sets the mood for a chapter, because it does that. It takes you right back into that emotional state. And so, right? And so the next time you need to write a chapter like that, where you need to call up all those emotions, you know what song to play to have them all come pouring out of you. So our brains are fascinating the way that they work. I'm super sorry that you're having a really tough time with that, Charlotte. I really am. And I don't mean to sound callous, but also seize the opportunity.
Seize the opportunity. It is an opportunity. Take it. Just and be sure that you don't have to go through this alone.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I do not know how to say your name. Is it Javia? Give us a little phonetic spelling, please, so we know. But welcome. Thank you so much for coming today. We sure love to have you. I'm Lisa. This is Dahl. That's Robert. That's Michelle. Hello. So nice to see you. And Sprint kicked me back into writing mode. 800 words. That is awesome. Yeah. Awesome. All right, we're gonna burn through some of the chat really fast. Congratulations on that 800 word count. That is fantastic. Tina's here. Hello. I want to say hi to everybody, but I also want to get us back for another sprint, you guys. All right, and we have not talked about. All right, we're gonna do one more sprint, and then we're gonna talk about our topic today, which was writing process. Okay, Mary. Hello, darling. We're super glad that you're here today. Read the chat. You are coming in on a serious discussion, but it's, it's craft. It's all craft. All right, Tina, super glad to see you. I'm so glad you're here. All right. Ooh. All right. CB394, I had to write that novel after my favorite actor died in 2016. Nicole says, I'm following the Save the Cat and Romancing the Beat sheets, but I'm wondering if the falling in love, fun and games beat and the retreating from love, bad guys close in beat can be swapped. I'm going to have to think about that logically for a second. Falling in love, fun and games, retreating from love. No, because you have to start falling before you retreat. Unless you have, there's another, right? There's another, but there's another beat with that. Like they start falling, then they retreat, and then they sort of, then it like they kind of get stuck back together again, but then it's really serious. And then you have another kind of a retreat. So I'm not familiar with the Romancing the Beat sheet. I feel like I read it a while ago, but I don't know it well enough to know.
That's the tiny book that Carrow recommended a while back. I picked it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So when we come back, I will I'll just give you like a super quick overview of the beats that I use. All right. Okay, let's see. CB, the day after Nano, my maternal grandmother. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. But see, you get all that out of your, I mean, that's the thing is we have to process our emotions and we process on the page. So yeah. All right. So Oscar says, honestly, just listening to you helped a lot. Oh, no, don't worry.
Apologies.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is we have to write and be humans at the same time. And sometimes that's more challenging than others. So,
yeah.
But also sometimes that helps. I mean, honestly, I have scenes that I've written where it was awful when I wrote them. But a lot of times you don't have to change a word because it's just so honest and pure and right. And it connects in such a big way. So, all right.
You just have to fix the typos because typos happen because you were crying or something.
Right.
But you don't have to change a single word out of that scene. It's like I have written a couple of scenes like that. My books are kind of dark. This is why I don't market it for young adults. There are some very dark scenes, and I have written some of them out of personal experience. And when I look back at them, it's like, I don't have to edit this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Isn't that the best feeling in the whole world when you just like, I always feel like, and I think there was a quote about this, but it's absolutely the truth. And it's like any scene that you get up in the middle of the night to write, you never have to change a word of it. Like if you get up where you just have to get it out really fast. I actually have like a light on here. Let's see. So this little lamp right here on my desk is a touch light. And it's really dim, like just enough where I can see what's on my desk. And I can, when I wake up in the middle of the night and I need to, get something out, then it's not light enough where it's going to like really screw me up from going back to sleep. It's just light enough to make sure that, I can find everything that I need to find. So
a good question to think about during the sprint might be, what is process? Because I see a lot of people confusing the process because sometimes the advice that writers give, even big name writers, is a lot of airy, wispy generalizations. And it's not actually a process.
True. That is true. All right. I think, and the thing is sometimes you're like trying to be general enough where you're not specific enough to, I probably do that where I'm trying to be general enough to help more people, but I'm not specific enough to help anybody. I don't know. All right, you guys, we are going to get rolling with our next writing sprint. Here we go. We're going to do 20 minutes. Doll, would you like to take us out? Or not? I will.
Oh, okay.
Lisa. Okay. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, so everybody, just remember, you don't have to do this alone. You have your own process. You work at your own pace. And now you have an opportunity for 20 minutes on the clock to work your magic, put your words out, paint those portraits, whatever it is that you're doing. So let's get to it in 3, 2, 1, and sprint.
All right, everybody. Let's get rid of that. Very nice. Okay, how'd everybody do?
Good.
Woo!
Good. I know, me too. Really good. Great. I'm very glad about that. Michelle, why don't you go first? How'd you do?
Great. I read through the scene that I wrote and I sent it to that client. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Fantastic. Doll, how about you?
I posted that Instagram thing and continued with the final touches of the rough draft for my horror.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Robert, how about you? Oh, wait, hold on. Did I do that? No, it's you.
There. I finished writing down the last idea in my notes that I started in the last sprint, and then I started applying my notes to the revisions.
Excellent.
Woo!
Very nice. Very, very nice. I'm glad to hear it. Before we forget, JVA, right? JVA. Okay. JVA. All right. Fantastic. I am super excited about that. I did pretty well. I did like 398. So I'm very happy with that sprint. I always have a harder time putting up any kind of massive numbers when I'm trying to pay attention to the time. But yeah. So
same.
JVA, 768 words. Needs a lot of editing, but I'm getting story out and it feels so good. Ooh, nice work. Laurel, got a couple more minutes out of the video. Feel that. Charlotte is researching lupus more. Also chatted with a doctor to work out what would fit best. Good for you. Good for you. That is absolutely fantastic. We were going to have a conversation today about writing process, and we did not get very far into that. So I think we should spend our last 10 minutes talking about that. But I also think that that should be our topic for next week. What do you guys
we're going
think
to get to an interesting point and say to be continued.
Right? Dun, 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 dun. So this was your brilliant idea. Oh, hold on. We got JC too. JC says, I can't believe that sprint was so short. What's happening? Anybody else? We have a little echo. Sorry about that. JC said, I can't believe that sprint was so short. I got 437 words. I always struggle the closer I get to the end of a book because endings are hard for me.
Endings are hard.
They are.
That's so fascinating to me. For me, when I get through 85% of the book done, I sail right through to the end. Michelle, endings are hard, or do you like get there and slide down? Like, it's like sledding for me, right?
It's different every book. I've had books that were like that, and then I've had books where the ending was like the hardest part.
Yeah, I'm with you, Michelle. I'm with you on this one. The first book in my sci-fi novel was hard to start, and then when I was closer and closer to the end, I was like, I finished!
Yeah.
It was the best thing ever. But then this horror short story is the ending is like, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Precisely because it's the scariest part of the story. Like all the build up and setup, great. And then when I get to the monster part, I'm like, no. So it really depends. It depends on the story, the genre, how you feel about the story, how prepared you are. It really depends. Really depends.
That's probably true, right? Because I write romance. So by the time I get to the end of the story, I want them to get together as much as everybody else does. So anyway. Yes.
Sometimes the endings are easy. You just naturally have that progression and it comes to mind. And other times it's not. And I think that structurally, if you look at almost any book on structure, there's a lot about the first 3/4 of the book or the first 2 acts. And then you get to the ending, and it can be very minimal. They don't seem to have as much criteria. And there's that famous line of, just make it satisfying for the reader.
Oh, is that all? Just write a good book.
And I'm sure you've seen movies and TV shows where you get to the end and all of a sudden it's like ka-chunk and you're like, wow, that was abrupt. And then you're on into the aftermath.
Right.
So people do write lousy endings, and the ending can make or break all that buildup, really.
Wow,
it is like that social skills advice. It's like, how to be more social? Oh, just be yourself.
Right. Like, well, I was doing that and I have 7 friends. So, oh my gosh. Okay. So let's talk about, hold on just one second here. Let me just burn through some of these a little bit. JC said, I'm sorry, NUL says 440 words with some research. A nice job. Laurel says, yes, we had lots of conversations today. We did, right? I try to be less chatty, but let's just like me saying, I try to be less me, but I can't. All right. Jason, and then all of us getting together and like, there's so much. Yeah. But I really love it. I think we have some really good conversations.
Yeah.
About craft and writer life. And all right, so JC says, to be fair, beginnings are hard for me too. I want the beginning to really hook the reader, and I want the end to either tie everything up without getting boring or to leave a cliffhanger. Middles are my jam. What? You might be the only writer alive
sorcery
that loves middles. JC, you're like
I was confidently just scrolling, and then it's like the middle. I'm like,
you're like a special unicorn of a writer. Most writers hate middles. I love that you love middles. I think that's awesome.
That's a subject for a video. I think you should definitely talk about why you jam on those middles.
Yes, right. And how to make the rest of us love middles. Yeah. Okay. Robert, this was your fantastic idea today. So I'm going to assume that you had something that you wanted to say on the topic. So let's start with you. And then if we have time, the rest of us will chime in. But if not, I really do want to pick this up on next week. I really want to, it's when we would normally do our promo stream. But I think that that this is a really good topic for next week. So
yeah,
you start.
I had a lot to say, and I was feeling kind of rampy, which means I'm probably going to get back to videos soon because I'm wanting to talk about things that I see between AuthorTube and even like on Masterclass. How many people have watched Masterclass? Is some of it that masterful, or is it very basic?
You know what?
It's saucy.
I know.
Yeah.
I keep thinking I want to do it. Like there are several that I would like. Okay, I would like to know about that. But like, and there's some good writers. I think like, oh, I'd take Neil Gaiman's masterclass. Like I'd be interested. Is it terrible?
I am actually. Everybody loves it, but everybody loves Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman has a secret weapon. And in the United States, there was a movie that said, if you have an accent, that's your secret weapon for the United States. We love to listen to that. And we love to listen to Neil Gaiman talk. But he's very generalized, and there's bits in there. There's definitely good bits.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I was just saying I love Neil Gaiman. I haven't seen his masterclass, so not good, huh?
I can say for sure, like I said, they're in 15-minute segments. I'm about 8 in. He's talking about characters. And this is what made me start thinking about process. Mm-hmm. Process, he talks about when he was writing comics, and he's like, what am I going to do with this character? I want her to be unusual. I was in a nightclub and I saw this chick that had torn fishnet all over her body. And I said, okay, I'll add that. I want her to be really trippy. So I had her thinking of thoughts like ice cream flavors that no one would ever eat, like a chair, a dog, or green mouse flavored ice cream. But she can also say very wise things. And I thought, these are random elements, but none of this gives you the process by which you would develop a character. It's like if a beginning writer came and told you that, you would think they got high and just cracked open their brain.
Right. Right. Well, and the thing is that, so there are some elements of truth in there, like especially for beginning writers. I always like talk about how when you create a character and you don't have a good handle on a unique character, that you could sort of create like a Frankenstein of people that you already know, and you can add in these little details, but you really are trying to like complete like a real human feeling person. And right. But if you're just now, God, obviously he's a great writer. And if Neil Gaiman says, oh yeah, I add fishnets and a cup of green mouse
Crazy
ice cream.
flavors.
Right, and then he can turn that into a character.
Yeah,
Whereas-
that's not a
yeah.
good example. I
No.
don't agree.
Oh,
I,
I'm so
At the
sorry
beginning.
that I'm so sorry that it's not good though, because I really
At the
do love
beginning,
him.
I was cracking up because I was like, "Who's writing this dialogue?" Because he's like, "I'm going to show you the writer's tool shed. I'm going to take you down to the shed and show you I'm going to show you the tools and all of the hose." All the tools for gardening.
Oh, my God. Oh, Neil. Well, he is busy writing books, so there you go.
yeah, yeah.
Good Lord. Okay, well, I feel like we should really dedicate next week's whole. And I know we planned to do that, and it just sort of got away from us. We started talking.
I can summarize just
All right,
for like
hold on.
having an appetizer for next week. It's like
Okay.
everybody has their unique process, and when you try to teach everybody with your process, then sometimes things don't translate very well from one artist's process to another's. It's just
Well, and
I
think that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had a writing buddy at one point who was also like, she majored in art, and we would sit here and look at all these things, craft books and videos, and read people's vlogs and blogs, and they would talk about things, and we would ask questions. We would say, "What is your process?" And they would give us a generalized answer. And we'd say, "Yeah, but what's your personal process in coming to this?" And we'd get another generalized answer. And we would say, do they understand that all arts have a process of coming to it? Like a painter, comes at all these different techniques, and then you come up with your own style and your own take on it. And writers will almost give you, it's like all the vlogs you see. I'm going to write like Neil Gaiman and Stephen King.
Right.
Here's their process for outlining. Here's how they schedule their day. That's not process. That's the palette of their day and how they lay out the paint on the palette.
that's a routine.
Yeah, it's a routine. It's not a process. It's part of their process, but it's not really a process. It makes for great and interesting vlogs to see people writing like famous writers. But at the same time, that's not really a specific solution to your writing issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of writers give. It's not very specific. It's a palette, not a process.
Well, it's harder to make a video that says, first, I sit at my desk with a giant pile of old Easter candy, and I bang my head against my laptop until something shakes free. Okay. So I think JC had asked, like, could we go another half hour? I could, but I don't, like, Michelle often has to go. So I don't know what your schedules are like. Michelle's got to go. Okay. So we can, I really do want to talk about this next week. Like, I want to talk about it in detail. And I think we should confess our process. Like, I think we should say, like, exactly how you get from zero to book, right?
That
and
could be interesting.
I will, yeah. Okay, that's good. And also, I think it'll be like I realized that, like, we wanted to do this today, but I actually feel like it will probably be better if we do it next week, because we will all have thought about, like, how do I really make this happen?
Yeah.
All right, I'm up for it. Are you guys up for it?
Yeah, definitely.
I have it is now officially in the planner.
In the planner.
It's happening. It's happening. Speaking of planners, we're having the Boozy Plannerama at 8 p.m. on Saturday. Oh, wait, hold on just a second. Laurel just said something really funny. It reminds me a bit of those Draw the Heroes the Marvel Way things that were meant for aspiring authors to see and get excited, but they don't actually get instructions. Yes. And also, just because you can do it doesn't mean you can teach it. So she said, yay. And then she's like, oh, man. So, all right. So we're going to talk about this next week. Oh, and we'll have to forewarn Sako if she's still in the chat, since she's going to come join us next week.
I'll remind her too.
I'll let her know.
Reminder for everybody that
we want to know. We want to know. I think you guys might be surprised at how I start books? I'm excited to talk
I'm
about
very
it. Yeah.
curious.
I know. I'm
I
very
even
curious.
have some backstage secrets on that book on how to draw comics the Marvel way, but
No, of
I don't
course
know if
you
people
do.
would want to hear it. But
I bet Laurel would like to hear it. I bet Laurel would like to hear it. All right, we're at 104, so we should probably wrap things up. But so let's go ahead and go around and have everybody just say who they are really quick, do our little outros, and then we will wrap things up. But next week on this stream, next Wednesday, we are going to be talking all about process, and I am super excited about that. And we're going to not talk about like, oh, it's a good idea to do this, but we're going to literally tell you the nitty-gritty of how we make a book happen. Which I think is going to be really fun and exciting because I'm fascinated how you guys do that. Fascinated. Okay. Yay. All right, Robert, you start first. Since it was your brilliant idea, you start first. Give us your little outro, and then we'll go around the circle and say goodbye to everybody.
well, my channel is the Story Detective, where we break down all that craft and try to give you a process. Put it under a Sherlockian microscope and look at the nitty-gritty of it on how to get those points down instead of saying just make it satisfying for the reader. And I do tech reviews, and more is coming soon because, as I said, I'm kind of feeling ranty, and the more I see these things, the more I feel like talking about them.
Robert is like jabbing at Nid Game and like jabbing. Like
First of all, I'm very excited that you're going to be doing some more videos soon because I have missed them. And yeah, and I'm fascinated because I have too thought about like, oh, well, I'd like to look at some of these master classes. I think they would be interesting. And also I'm just a person that I literally like every Sunday have time that I set aside for craft, like where I read a book or I watch videos or do something like that's like my little learning power hour. So, so I had thought about like, oh, this would be great. I should do one of these. But
and it's not really like a stab that I don't like Neil Gaiman. I've enjoyed
I know.
some of his books. And
I know.
He writes very Tolkien grandiose prose, and he's also a great example of beginnings. Some of the beginnings of his novels are very intriguing, and you should look at those.
Yeah,
he doesn't really discuss those things, at least not yet, in his master class.
Well, and sometimes we don't really know, right? Sometimes you don't really know how you do things. Yeah. All right.
Sometimes you just have to get high and crack open your brain and let it spill on the page, I guess.
That's right. That is true. That is true.
It works for some people.
It does. It does. Speaking of some people, Michelle. I know that was a terrible segue. I'm sorry. It was like the worst segue ever. Tell us about your channel, darling.
All right. I'm Michelle. I'm a middle grade young adult author, and my channel is all about writing workshops and traditional publishing chat and blogs.
Michelle, good process.
I know. I'm dying to know about your process. All right, Doll, give us your little outro, please.
Thank you very much for having me today. I am Books Cecil Runo, a partially blind own voices author, also known as the A from Space. I write primarily science fiction, but I also write poetry and short stories in multiple genres. I stream on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. Eastern, and maybe on Twitch on Fridays at 8 a.m. We will see about that. My YouTube channel consists of writing updates, book reviews, and whatever craft, trick, and hack that I learn in the process of improving my own writing skills.
Nice. Very, very nice. All right. We're going to answer some questions or some comments really fast. Astrid, hello, darling. Yes, we start streaming at 11 a.m. Eastern until 1 p.m. But next week, you do not want to miss it because we are going to talk. We're going to like break apart our process, not the sort of generalized, oh, I do this, but literally like how the nitty gritty of how we get an idea all the way to writing a book. All right, so I hope you will be here next week, this channel, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. JC, wait, leave us hanging. Sorry, we can't do this without Michelle. Plus, you know, I feel like this is something that like, it needs some
30 minutes.
Right? It does. It needs some attention. So I'm excited about it. And also, I really want to think about like, how have I made these things happen? So I'm like thinking about it now already. So I think this is such a great topic. All right. Thank you, Laurel. JC says, I can't wait till next week. Yay. Thank you for the stream, Lisa. Everyone have a good day. Thanks, you too. And Amy pops in with a plug for Robert's brand new website, which is linked down in the description, Grievous Lair Lightsabers.
And if you want to check out, it was a collaboration of my art designs and Amy putting it together. And once I saw that Amy and I were on the same page and she had a great sense of design, I just said, go for it. And she did an amazing job.
Yay. I'm super excited about that. I'm actually going to be working with her actually like next month. We're starting. I said, I'm so overwhelmed with everything else I have going on right now. We're going to have to sort of take care of this like piece by piece slowly. I do not have the energy. I don't have the juice for a full-on web overhaul, but it needs to be overhauled. So I'm like, we're just going to have to break it up into manageable chunks so I can handle it. So Amy says, oh, thank you. So thank you so much. Oh, no, I meant when you said we'll all be surprised about how you start. Yeah. I'm going to tell you it's with junk food. All right. So, so I'm Lisa Daly. I'm a traditionally published author, and this is my channel. And on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. And every Wednesday, we host these awesome writing sprints with this fabulous crew, as well as some other friends who are not with us here today. So thanks you guys so much for being here, everybody. You are awesome. We love you, and we will see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.